Yeah, you got to join. All right, we're both here. All right, we're trying to get everything set up and play with microphones and everything like that because we're not quite sure how this is going to go yet. For those of you listening on Patreon, welcome to the awkward part of the show where we're waiting for everyone else to show up on stereo. I am here with my non-witchy boyfriend. Would you like to say hello?
Hello.
This is his first time on my podcast. We're very excited to be doing this with you guys because last time I did a show, you guys were all saying, Kenny needs to come on the show. And we made it happen. We made a deal with my patrons saying basically like, hey, if we get this many patrons, I'll have Kenny guest star on the show. So how does it make you feel that so many people wanted to be patrons for me basically overnight so that they could have you on the podcast?
Unreal. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me on. It's an honor.
Maybe I should have you on here more often then. Because a lot of people were saying that they wanted to hear your perspective on what it's like being the non-witchy boyfriend in this relationship. Because there's a lot of like non-witchy boyfriend memes and videos on TikTok. But I feel like you don't get a whole lot of opportunities to actually talk to the non-witchy boyfriend. So you're a meme, first of all. Congratulations. And for those of you tuning in, so normally I have like kind of a script or like an outline for these podcasts, but we're not doing that this time. We're just kind of going with the flow. So if you have questions, send them in for me and Kenny or about us. Like if you want to know, like, how do I tell my partner that I'm into witchcraft? Are they going to think that I'm weird or anything like that? Just send them in. And like I said, thank you so much to everyone on Patreon who subscribed and was able to make this happen. So I guess to start, while we wait for some questions to come in, I'll start by, it's weird interviewing my boyfriend. I'll start by asking you some questions. So what do you think of my witchy stuff as of now?
Oh, we got a message. Okay, well here,
sure.
I'll just, yeah, so by the way, everybody, sorry for being a little bit late. That's my fault. Just kind of getting back home and getting situated was a little bit more of a hassle than I thought it'd be. Currently, Hannah's in my bedroom and I'm in my living room. So we're trying to make this work. And yeah, thanks for everybody going on Patreon and helping us out. We're, as a lot of you guys know, we're moving and every little bit helps. I'm currently in Indianapolis and, you know, not to get too deep into anything, but trying to find, you know, just like a 1 or a 2 bedroom right now is really crazy. To give like any sort of perspective, I had a place for like $1,200 a month, which was like relatively spacious, like 800 square feet. And to find anywhere downtown like that now is like at least $1,500 a month.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, some places are 17. So yeah, like I said, guys, anything, you know, that you guys are doing for Hannah, it is an absolutely huge help. You know, she comes and she moves with me and, you know, we kind of start that journey together. But no, it's been really great. Hannah and I have been together for about almost 5 years now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we met in high school. We were good friends in high school. I played in like different bands, I guess. And so
we were both emo.
Yeah, it was different. I played in like rock bands and blues bands and you know, Hannah was doing her thing. I know you did a lot of I can't think of the word. Like a lot of
be a doctor. Like I was gonna go into pre-med, or I was in pre-med in college, and I was doing a lot of medical stuff in high school, and then obviously changed.
Right. Yeah, and I wanted to do music business, and my dad kind of had a conversation, and he's like, "Well, um, that's really cool. I don't know what you're really gonna be able to do with that." And I was gonna go to Belmont down in Nashville, and pursue that. And I'm really kind of glad that I went down the path that I did, and I ended up going to Loyola in Chicago, and um, sorry, this is taking a little bit of a turn, but did the whole finance route that put me to where I am today. And Hannah's been really amazing, and we've stuck by each other's side, through college, and now Hannah's going to be graduating. Um, and yeah, I mean, Hannah and I have really grown up together, and we've really changed together. And uh,
Oh,
it's I think it's something when you're with somebody for and you accept them as a person and you love them as a person, it really doesn't matter, because you love them and because you accept them. Like Hannah, when I first met her, she was extremely Christian. um she went to church every Sunday. She dragged me to church with her when she could, when I was
sorry.
in college. And it's okay. And it was funny. It was a good thing to see. I went to a Catholic college, so I mean, I took a lot of religion classes. And um, it was it just, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it wasn't completely bizarre for me to
Yeah.
to go to church. And my mom is fairly religious, and um, you know um, nothing crazy, but definitely, a little religious. And not saying that you're
Not as
crazy if you
crazy as
are
my
religious.
mom.
But yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say here, other than, yeah, I really do accept Hannah. And I think a lot of that goes into, I know Hannah as a person. I trust Hannah. And I think history and time plays a lot into that, into just wanting to be with somebody and really not having a lot of those things, I guess, for lack of a better term, matter. So that was a
Oh,
really extremely long-winded response, but
no, you're
what I
totally fine. I love that. Thank you. That was really sweet. Oh, um, okay. I will get to these three messages that we have in just a second, but I do just want to say one more thing. So, as Kenny mentioned, we've been together almost 5 years, 4.5 years. And with that being said, we make fun of each other a lot. So, that might happen on the show. And you guys are welcome to roast us in return. I think it's hilarious. But let's see what our first question or comment is.
Hey, non-witchy boyfriend, so happy to finally meet you.
happy to meet you too. Glad to be here.
It's so funny. I make so many videos about you, and now people are able to kind of put a voice to the videos that I make about you.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
Okay,
fun.
let's.
What is a witch? Do you do spells and stuff? Do you use denature elements to do spells to manipulate the energy, which causes karma? Uh, or I could say we could do it as it's displayed in the movies. Do you have a witch broom? Do you wear all black a lot? That's TV. I know it's TV. I'm just messing with you, but
No, it's
elaborate. What is a witch? What type of witchism do you practice? Do you manipulate energy? Yes or no, using nature?
You know what,
So,
Hannah? I really gotta kind of wonder what you actually do. What is it? What are your witchisms? Let's hear
okay,
it.
so I am most known on TikTok for being a Christian witch, which, if you're new to this, might sound like an oxymoron. But it is possible to be both a Christian and a witch, contrary to popular belief. But I am also what is an eclectic witch, which means that I don't stick to one specific thing. I just kind of I do a little bit of everything. I do whatever I want. So yes, I do perform spells. I attempt to manipulate energy. I also do tarot and work with crystals. And because I'm a Christian witch, I do worship Jesus, but I also worship and honor pagan deities, which is called Christo paganism. Um, And so I am on TikTok under the name Spirituality, spelled TEA. It's a pun. It's hilarious. Um, and that is where I do the most of my content. And I see that this person had another thing to say, so let's see.
What is a non-witchy boyfriend? And are you a witch, Hannah? Like, what's going on here? What is this all about? Could you please explain? What powers do you guys have? Do you possess? What can you say or do? Do you have any tricks? Like, what is this? I'm just curious. Don't get offended, guys.
No, I'm not offended at all. I'm totally used to people asking questions. So I'm a witch. Kenny is not a witch. And there are a lot of people on my last podcast that I did who are in a similar situation where they're a witch and their romantic partner is not a witch. And they're like, hey, how do I talk to my partner about this stuff? I'm worried that it's going to be weird or whatever. So that's why I decided to bring Kenny on. And yeah. Kenny, do you want to try playing a voice message so you can get the hang of what it's like?
Sure. Okay.
Or do you want me to do it?
Bravo to your relationship. That's great. I've got a boyfriend who is also not witchy, who is actually Catholic, and I am the witchy witch in the relationship. I'd like to ask your boyfriend how he deals with other people coming up and seeing you two together. Does he respond well with their response about you and what you believe in?
Trying to figure out how to approach this. So I don't know. Should
Like
I talk about work?
when people like talk shit about me or discriminate me for being a witch, my parents, what are your thoughts?
It's horrifying, and it's really, in my opinion, stupid. And I feel really bad too. I'm really not as PC as Hannah is, and I'm sorry, but I'm just I'm gonna throw that out there. Um, I think it's if you claim that you love people and that you accept people and that you love everyone and that you accept everyone, but then again you don't. Could I swear on here?
Yeah.
That's a pretty shitty thing to do. I mean, really, I really don't understand it. Um, I think it's very weirdly paradoxical to claim that you love and accept everybody if you don't. Um, and I think I see that a lot, not necessarily with Hannah, but, just my own self scrolling through TikTok or walking down the street. Yeah, I mean, if somebody is mean to somebody else for no reason, and really too, I mean, what Hannah does, I know that she has a platform and that she's able to talk to you guys, but this is who Hannah is, and really, it's not anybody else's business who she is, unless she wants it to be. Um, so I think that there are people in Hannah's life where she wants it to be her business, which I think that's her followers, and there are definitely people where it's really nobody's business. It's not their business. So I think people probably need to do a better job at maybe just staying in their own lane, when they need to stay in their own lane.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to think that, I got your back in a lot of things, and um, I'm never gonna let somebody be really horrible to you if I'm there and I can do anything about it. That's not gonna fly. But
Well, that's, another reason why I'm looking forward to us moving in together, because I know you guys can't see him, but Kenny is very tall and he's a gentle giant, but the general public doesn't know that. So it's like that sense of safety in knowing that if someone tries to try some shit because I'm a witch or and we live in Indiana, I know I've got some protection.
well,
So let's see what Let's see what some of these other messages say.
Hey, so Kenny, do you like think one of these days, like for instance, if you guys are upset or mad, and if she wants a wedding ring or to get married, and you're not ready for that, do you ever think that maybe she's manipulating energies? She's going to manipulate energies to make me want what I really don't want.
No.
I'm just saying stuff. I know she probably doesn't do this, but I was just wondering, have you thought about it once that she could use her gifts to manipulate you to get what she wants? And I know you don't, Hannah, but some people do. I don't know if you do or not, but it's possible, It's an easy way to get what you want.
Let's take things for what they are. I think if Hannah, really were out to really manipulate, I don't think she'd be with me. I think she would be with, like, I don't know, Jason Momoa or something. I don't think so.
Yeah, there are people who do unethical love spells to get what they want, but I'm not about that. And also, like, we started dating before I was a practitioner, so we fell in love for each other long before I started doing any witchy stuff.
Hannah, what resources do you recommend to someone that is interested in getting into the craft but isn't really sure where to start? Because there's kind of a lot of information, but I want correct information, not random Google information.
I got this. You got to watch that movie, The Craft, and
No.
They'll walk you through the whole thing.
No. The Craft is a great movie, and there is some realism to it, but that's no. So if you click the link in my TikTok bio, I have a free witchcraft and spirituality resource list with a bunch of books and websites that I recommend. But I always like to say that you need to make your craft your own. So just because you read something in a book doesn't necessarily make it fact, and it doesn't mean that you have to do it. So if you're reading a witchcraft book and you're like, well, I really like this thing on page 15, but I don't want to do this thing on page 30, then don't. You can do what you want, form it to your wants and your needs, but just for the sake of getting information, like I said, I have that free witchcraft and spirituality resource list, which I post, my recommendations for books and websites there. I should probably update it, but that'll give you a few things to start with, I think. I hope.
I'm a little offended that I'm not getting any questions about defeasance, commercial paper.
Oh my god. Okay, so Kenny works in
unsecured and secured debt obligations. Come on, guys.
Kenny works in finance.
Dial it up.
So if you got questions about the stock market, I you know how I always make those videos on TikTok about not understanding my boyfriend's job? That's not a joke. I legitimately don't understand what he does. So if you have any questions about that, maybe you'll understand.
I'm figuring it out. It's okay.
Oh my god.
Hi, non-witchy boyfriend. It's so nice to finally meet you. I'm really glad you were there for her when her mom did all that crap to her stuff.
Hey, Rebecca. Yeah, it's nice to meet you too, and I'm glad I was there. It was, when that happened, and I hope, Hannah, you don't mind me talking about.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Yelling into the other room, like, could I talk about this?
Yeah, you're fine.
When all happened, and I don't mean to open that can of worms, and maybe let's not, but I shit you not, it was out of a movie. Mm-hmm. I felt like it was in a fucking movie. I mean, it was the weirdest, goofiest shit I've ever seen in my life.
But it was also terrifying.
I think for anybody to say that they have a normal life is kind of weird, because I think everybody has their own idiosyncrasies and everybody kind of goes through their own traumas, and they all go through their own paths, and nobody's path is the same. But I like to think that the path that I've had in life is maybe a little bit peculiar, but it isn't anything that would have ever prepared me for that. So I guess, short story long, I'm really glad that I was there. And yeah, we went and looked at this apartment that I'm in now. I got the job at my company, moved down to Indianapolis, and we came back up, and that was what happened. So
Yeah.
and then shit kind of hit the fan. Things were pretty rough for a few months. And slowly things are getting better. They're still kind of getting better. I don't know if things will really ever be the same, or they'll ever really be better, quote unquote, but it's a process, and
It hasn't even been a year.
yeah, it hasn't, has it? It
No,
what would be
May
April?
29th will be
Yeah,
1 year.
yeah. Um, it was traumatic, and it was terrifying, and I know that you guys couldn't really see what was going on. You guys could maybe see it through TikTok, but it was like out of a movie, and I really don't know any other way to describe it other than that. Um, so I
And
guess that's where I'll leave it.
yeah, for those of you who may not know what I'm talking about, again, if you go to my TikTok and find my unfortunate events playlist, you'll find all the videos that led up to me getting kicked out of the house, explaining how I got kicked out of the house because my parents found out that I'm just practicing witchcraft and thought that I was evil. And Kenny was at the house in the room with me when my parents were screaming at me to kick me out. So, um, if this was still somewhat fresh, I wouldn't be okay with talking about it, but it has been almost a year, so I am okay with talking about it. Um, but yeah, I always say I don't know what I would have done um if he hadn't been there.
Hi, Miss Hannah. I think there's people with what I call them gifts. People call them as evil and all that stuff. I think some people do possess gifts, but there's a lot of people on stereo that do tarot cards, and tarot cards and all that sorts of stuff. And I kind of devil into that and see if it's true or if it's accurate and whatever. And I know from the charlatans and from not the charlatans by telling them, okay, read this card, see my energy. And I purposely manipulate my own energy by changing my moods and stuff like that to see if what they're saying is accurate. But what do you think about that? And how do you separate yourself from it being a charlatan? Because I know there's some people with gifts, indigo childs and stuff like that. So, because I have never seen you, I don't know if you do tarot cards here, but they do it here. So I was wondering.
I guess I'm a little ignorant. What is a charlatan, Hannah, if you know?
I don't know. But to answer the rest of the question, I don't do tarot cards on here, but I have done them on live streams on TikTok. I will be live streaming on TikTok again soon, guys, at some point. Um, but yeah, I do tarot cards, I do oracle cards on TikTok. Um, Kenny, I've given you a couple readings. How would you describe them?
How would I describe your readings?
Yeah, because I've given you a few.
I would say that they're fun. I think they're really nice. No, I mean, in all reality, even though I maybe I don't want to say like I don't believe what Hannah does. Like I think that
You're a skeptic.
grossly
You're a little suspicious.
understates. But I even think like to be skeptical sort of has it has an undertone to it that I don't really want to prescribe to or
Yeah.
subscribe to. And so I would say that they're reassuring.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like if I have to do a presentation at work, or if I have a big project due, or A, B, C, or D is on that is making me incredibly anxious. And by the way, I have a ton of anxiety, and I'm sure a lot of you can probably relate. It's definitely reassuring. Whether you're a believer or you're not. Um, I
Some
think
words of
that
encouragement.
just to have some sort of something there,
Yeah.
to maybe help guide your thinking is really nice to have.
Yeah.
So. I don't know if they answers the
I
question.
had the same thing growing up with my parents, who just did not want anything to do with me, but for different reasons. As my parents are Jewish, and they did not like me reaching out in my spirituality to try Christianity out. Like now, I call myself like I'm a witchy person, but I'm also like messianic. What do you say to like mixed relationships? I mean, I know yours works out perfect, but what do you think of being in a relationship with somebody who's witchy and you're not witchy? Do you plan on being witchy at any point, or do you have any idea of maybe is there some stuff you like or want to invest in yourself, or are you kind of like I do whatever I do, she does what she does, and we don't mix?
Um, I'll answer first and then I'll have Kenny answer. So, like I said, in terms, I wouldn't say like we don't mix because I have given him tarot card readings before, and when we move in together, I'm sure there'll be crystals around the apartment. And I don't know if Kenny believes in the metaphysical properties of crystals, but he acknowledges that they're pretty and make nice decorations. So, um, I don't know. What do you think? Like, you've told me that you believe in energy. Like, do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe that energy can be manipulated? Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, well, my belief in ghosts was really kind of solidified when I saw Paranormal Activity.
Oh my god.
Um,
That's not a real movie, right? It's fiction.
they got the footage somehow,
Oh
Hannah.
my
Just
god.
saying. No, in all honesty, and I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm
No,
sorry,
you're fine. You can say that
but
you don't believe in some things.
no, I believe in my own things that maybe don't align with really anything, and I'm really skeptical of a lot, and I wouldn't necessarily say I'm agnostic. I would definitely not say I'm atheistic, but I definitely don't align with like your typical religion in really any factor. Um, my own belief is that, I think that there is energy out there that maybe we could never fully understand. And, for I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to understand it. But I'm just not sure that we are really capable of it. And, so that's one thing that I believe. And then, there is another part of me that believes that, once we die, we are dead. And, it's really no different than if you were to step on an ant on the ground, you took that life is gone. And once you die, your life is gone too. Um, that sounds pretty atheistic, but I'm not really sure if I 100% believe that either. And now that kind of sounds agnostic. So okay, well
You go
anyway.
back and forth. It's okay.
So I think there's a part of me that I definitely have my own thoughts with a lot of these things, and I'm not sure if I'll ever really find my own answer. But I'm definitely not closed off to learning and seeing different explanations and different beliefs, and um yeah, so
All right, pick a question, Kenneth.
oof. Ooh, I like this.
Kenny, what got you into finance
Oh
and wanting to
no.
work with numbers all the time?
Caitlin. Yes,
Oh
thank you.
no. You've
Woo!
unleashed the beast.
Damn. All right, your boy's here. So no, I'm gonna keep this really kind of simple.
No, you're not.
Should I even really should I even answer it or not?
Well, okay, let's start with you were good at math in high school. He was an AP calculus club in
Which was
high
pretty much
school.
just people getting together after school and doing their homework together. So,
Okay, but still. You can do math, which is something that I cannot say for myself.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I I always knew I wanted to work in high finance, and I did a bachelor's degree, and I went to school in Chicago, and when I was a first year, I was a little undecided. I didn't know if I wanted to do economics or finance, or if I wanted to maybe go down like more of a STEM field and do mathematics um, or what. But I needed to make a decision, and I needed to make it fast. And I think it was right around well, no, Wolf of Wall Street came out in like what, 2013?
Oh my God, Wolf of Wall Street.
But yeah, I was really kind of having a hard time, and I watched the Wolf of Wall Street, and I'm like, what the fuck does that guy do? I kind of want to do that. So I so minus going to jail in the end, and maybe the drugs, but
no.
It definitely was something that got me interested in that route. And really, when I started, I fell in love with it, and I really couldn't imagine doing anything else. And it's fun to really take what I learned in college and to really apply it in real life. And I mean, you're working in an environment where I don't know how much I can really say, or if I can really say anything at all, but um, you're working with legitimate amounts of money that are almost unfathomable, and you're really kind of doing things that you really only have seen in movies. And it is really neat to work in finance. And I feel bad. There's such a weird connotation when you talk about finance that you see on social media versus what you see in reality, where on social media you have all these like gurus talking about how NFTs and cryptocurrencies are going to save your financial life, and it's going to give you financial freedom. And I think you need to understand that a lot of those people that talk about those things probably sell something, and that's why they're able to make so much money. I think NFTs and a lot of crypto is kind of dumb, but not all crypto. I think some crypto is worth speculating, but at this point in its evolution, I think it really almost is just a sort of speculation vehicle. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of what got me into finance. And Hannah's been nice enough to stick with me through all my stressful internships and college courses. And
I don't
now that
understand
I'm
what he
an
does.
adult, she gets to put up with me now. So
Yeah.
it's good.
It is really cool that you get to do a lot of the things that you do as a 23-year-old kid. Like I have a very broad audience. Like there's definitely people that are younger than us, but there's also people a lot older than us that are following and maybe listening along. So, yeah, the fact that we're not even a quarter of a century old and you have this big boy finance job is quite impressive.
Well, I don't know. I feel, and yeah, I mean, I don't want to underscore what I do. I've worked really hard to get where I'm at, and I think it's really cool. I think that there's a lot that maybe goes unsaid, or maybe unseen, I should say, that got me here. Like I know a lot of you guys don't know me, but I went to Loyola in Chicago, and
Someone's throwing shit at me.
Really?
Yeah.
Throw it at me. Do it. Can somebody throw something at me? Yes. More. Do it again.
We fucking dare you.
Do it. Don't give me a heart. Oh, come on.
Whoever's throwing that shit at us has a tiny penis.
No, I don't care. But
last show, I was guilted with tomatoes and snowballs.
That's
from
hilarious.
Some asshole. Oh my god, he was being such a dick. Because it makes a sound, and I'm trying to talk, and you would just hear like pat, 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 like over and over again. It was so annoying.
Yeah, well, whatever.
I'm gonna go back to some more questions.
Hey Hannah, what was the funniest moment with Kenny and your altar space?
There's been a handful of times where he'll like he's like accidentally like bumped into it and knocked something over, and he'll like turn to my altar and like apologize to it, or he'll like go to put his monster can or his keys on my altar, and I'm like, no, that's gonna be theirs. Don't do that. I don't know. Can you think of any witchy or funny moments with my witchy shit that you didn't understand, or?
It's definitely funny to go into your dorm room.
Yeah.
Because you live in such a... No, I don't go to her dorm very often. Like, I don't know, when was the last time I was in your... Was it last year?
It was a couple months ago.
Okay, yeah, it's been a long time, but it's such a small little space, and she has all of this shit in it. Like, it's all witchy stuff. And it's fun. It's funny. I don't know. I mean, I try to be as respectful as I can because of course, right? But of course I accidentally set my monster can down on her altar because I had no idea what that was, and it was a table for me to put it down on. and then like, I don't know. But it was funny. She's like, you shouldn't put that there. I'm like, why not? Well, that's my altar. I'm like, I had this pit form in my stomach, and I'm like, oh no. Shit is gonna get real.
No.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh man. All right, what else do we got?
Xana, you're letting me down.
No. Oh no.
I'm kidding.
Hi, Hannah. I just hope that I'm using this app good because I am here for the first time. I just want to ask you, I know it's kind of out of the topic, but are you gonna talk with the Christian God and do the videos like on TikTok? Because I totally love it, and I have to tell, like, I would like to meet you and be your friend. It's very interesting for me. What are you doing? I'm just greeting you guys.
Well, thank you. I would love to, at some point, dedicate a podcast episode to a lot of the UPGs that I have about the Christian God. So yeah, if that's something that you guys would be interested in, let me know. I would definitely have to plan it out because there's a lot that I would have to say on that topic. But yeah.
He's having like gender crisis, but with spirituality. I love that.
Spirituality crisis. What do I believe in? I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Here, I feel. Hang on. We've kind of.
Huh.
Oh, I thought you were playing one. My bad. Did I delete one?
No.
I hope I didn't. Oh.
No, I can see all three.
My family came from the 10th century Viking era, which was in Europe, from the United Kingdom of Norway. You might know some of my ancestors. There was Esther and there was Dahlia. We later then moved to Mystic Falls, and yeah. So right now we're in Mystic Falls, but yeah. Where are you guys from?
So we're both from Indiana. At the moment, we're in Indianapolis, actually.
Mystic Falls. Where is that? I don't know if you can
I don't know.
read speak.
Yeah, they'll be able to.
Yeah. Okay.
It sounds spooky. I like it.
Sounds cool.
How did you guys find this stuff? Because I mean, you said it was in the trash can, but it was also in that bag. So I mean, how did you know to look there?
So, the night that I got kicked out, my parents told me that they had thrown everything away. And we went back to the house the next day to get some more of my like clothes and things that I might need, basically to flee, right? But I still had a lot of essential items in my house, like clothes and things like that. So we went back to the house to get those things. And as we were getting ready to leave, I was like, wait a minute. I wonder if my witchy stuff is still in the trash. And so, yeah, we went to the trash and we found that. And Kenny, I'm going to let you ramble about that for a minute while I use the bathroom. But what were your thoughts when you found my stuff in the trash?
Yeah. So we did I lock the door?
Yes, you locked the door.
Oops. Sorry. Yeah, so we ended up finding her stuff in the trash, and you know, I guess thankfully or unthankfully, you know, her parents weren't really. I should be careful. I don't want to get like sued by anybody, but like, you know, her it really was not a secret, you know, as to where these things may have gone. You know, so we were able to find things pretty quick. And she actually held on to things for a while. I mean, she carried that box full of her broken items in her car and then in my car because, you know, as any guy with a girlfriend knows, if something enters your car that's hers, it's going to be in your car for a while. So you know, I had you know, I had her stuff in my car for a little bit. And then I'm not really sure. And Hannah, you might want to correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
I believe that the stuff that was broken that we had gathered from your old house, that ended up getting demolished when your car got demolished.
Yeah. I wasn't really thinking when my I had a Chrysler that broke down on the side of the road, and I just wasn't really thinking. All of my stuff was in the Chrysler, and when it got towed, I didn't think to get that witchy stuff back. So it's gone now, but maybe that's a good thing that I don't have that stuff with me anymore.
I think it was okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's good to enter new chapters in your life and to let old chapters go. And I
Yeah.
think that was an old chapter that really needed to end. And I think you needed a new chapter to begin. And I think that was a good thing to maybe let go of.
Yeah.
From an outsider, well, I know I'm not really an outsider, but I
No, I
kind of
agree.
am, right? As an
Yeah.
outsider looking in, I think that was a good thing for that stuff to
Well,
just
especially
kind of
because I've been
go.
able to replace everything, and thanks to you guys who bought me things from my Amazon wish list.
Yeah, guys, that was huge. I mean, I remember looking at, you know, for the sake of not being starting any conflict, I'm just going to say that, you know, we had contacted some people about what to maybe do in this situation, and we needed to make a list of everything that was destroyed. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, how the fuck is she going to get all the money to pay for this? I mean, essentially, a ton of fucking money went out the door. I mean, that was a really big deal.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it
I mean,
wasn't
yeah.
just my altar. It was the table that I put my altar on. It was all of my books, a lot of my herbs and oils, and the tarot cards that I had, you know, anything, spell jars that I had made for myself, anything in my room that was remotely witchy got thrown out or destroyed. So, yeah, there was a lot of money out the window with that.
Mm-hmm. Here, I'm going to play Kristen's.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw your video of your parents throwing your stuff, and I contacted you about your deck I made for you, and I was really grateful. I took pictures of the deck, and I was able to recreate that deck for you. So, I love you. Okay.
Love you too, Kristen. So, yeah, Kenny, this is the person who made that deck for me that's like hand drawn. And I remember I was more heartbroken about that than probably anything else that got destroyed, because I'm like, this person took, you know, several weeks of their life to make me a tarot deck that my fucking mom just decided to, you know, burn in the fireplace because it's the devil or whatever. So I was very happy that we were able to, you know, you saved pictures of it and you were just able to send me a new one. And it is with my collection of other decks, and it'll be coming with me to the new place. And I am so grateful to you, Kristen, that you were able to make me a new one. And yeah, that was definitely some light in the darkness for sure.
Kristen, I didn't know that you made that for her. that was a really cool thing for you to do. When she got that in the mail, she like ran up to me and showed me. That must have taken so much time and so much effort and so much hard work, and I think it definitely showed through. You know, I think when you kind of become a big creator, it almost seems like a lot of that maybe doesn't matter as much. But I mean, with Hannah, that made her like year for you to send that and
Yeah,
for her to
I loved
receive
it.
that. And you know, when that stuff got destroyed, I hope I can say this, and
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Hannah, but I'm gonna.
No, you're fine.
She really didn't get so upset about a lot, but I remember her distinctly getting really upset about that.
Yeah.
You know, finding out that that was destroyed.
Because I
And,
knew that candles and things, those could be replaced. Like, yes, I was
right.
upset, but I knew that those could be replaced. I didn't know that the deck that you made me would be able to be replaced. So I'm very grateful that it was, but at the time I didn't know that it could be. So I was really upset about that at the time.
Yeah. So
But
thank you for bringing that back, though. That was really nice
yeah,
of you,
thank you so
Kristen.
much, Kristen. That was really amazing of you, and I very much appreciate it. Again, keep sending in questions if you have any, and if we don't get any more, that's fine. But Kenny, I have a question for you. What do you think of how I portray you in the Witchy Kid videos?
You're always having me wear, like, I always have like a hoodie on.
Yeah, that's because you're a man. And I gotta be able to distinguish the characters. I don't have a blonde wig.
I know. No, I think you do a good job. It's funny. Yeah, it's, I don't know how to answer that.
I talk about how you're in finance, and I make money jokes all the time.
Alrighty. Well,
Thank you, you both. Also, Hannah, when I was creating your deck, it was during a time my fiance was dealing with some health issues. And so, yes, it did hurt when I found out what happened with the original, but I was really grateful. I was able to recreate it, and it gave me to have the same experience I had made from the first deck. So, we're both healing, and I love you both.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I did. I felt so bad when that happened, but like I said, I was really grateful that it was able to be replaced. And if I didn't have Kenny with me when I was going through all of that, I really don't know what would have happened. But something that we were talking about during the last show is a lot of people were talking about, okay, how do I approach my significant other about me being interested in witchcraft? Are they going to think that I'm weird? Are they going to not like me anymore? So why don't we talk about kind of how you felt when I started to get into the witchy stuff? And I don't know, maybe if you have any advice for someone else who might be listening going through the same thing.
Yeah. I gotta be careful and lay this out, I think, in a way where I'm not going to have to re-explain it later. So bear with me. But, because I think it's such a sensitive topic, and it's such a topic where there's so many variables and there's feelings involved, and everybody's different, and nobody's perfect, and any Office fans, there you go. But I think at the end of the day, if you have a history with your partner and you know your partner well enough to love them, it shouldn't matter. And, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that, when I found out what was going on with Hannah, that it didn't catch me out of left field. Of course, it was a little, I don't want to say bizarre, but it was a little,
It's out there.
not even out there. It was a little unexpected because,
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have to know that when I was with Hannah, I'm still with Hannah. She had come from such a strong Christian family and she had such a background in that really conservatively Christian space. That maybe I didn't subscribe to, but she did, and she didn't have a problem with me not subscribing to it. Or maybe you did at the time. I don't know.
I didn't, but other people in my life did. And then
Yeah.
I had a problem with the fact that they had a problem, and I was like, maybe I don't want to do this anymore.
But everybody is going to have their own thoughts on it, and who you're with, they're going to have their own thoughts on it. I'm in a different boat. I believe in different things. I work in a profession that isn't so social. I'm not very social. I'm not really sure if that even really matters, but I feel like, if you have somebody, I guess what I'm trying to say is if you have somebody in your life that you're with who, you know, is really all about impressing their friends or impressing the people around them, I think you really just kind of have to have a conversation with them about who you are and what's going on. And it's definitely not a bad thing, but it is something that is it is a little niche, and that's okay. Really having a hard time with this one.
Well, and like his parents know that I do TikTok and the witchy stuff, and we maybe don't go too super into detail so that I don't look too weird, because as far as I know,
No.
your parents like me. But everyone's gonna be different. But I guess, at the end of the day, if your partner's not willing to accept you for who you are, then they don't deserve to be with you.
Exactly.
And even, when I was uber Christian, you still wanted to be with me. And even when I was going, in that uber Christian phase, I still knew that I was queer, and you've never had a problem with that.
No.
And because why would you? That should be a no-brainer, but unfortunately for some people it is not. So yeah, that's really, if your partner doesn't want to be with who you fundamentally are as a human, then there's not room for them in your life, and you can go out there and find someone who is worth it for you and the things that you want and the things that you do.
I couldn't have said it better. Yep.
So.
And yeah, you really just, you can't worry about it. You are who you are, and Hannah accepts me for who I am, and I have absolutely no reason to not accept Hannah for who she is. So, I think a lot of history goes into that, and I think a lot of respect goes into that, and a lot of trust, and you know, and that's okay. What you guys are really into, what Hannah's into, there's absolutely no shame in it at all. You need to be who you are, and you need to live the life that you want, and because at the end of the day, we're all people, and we all need to respect each other and to respect our spaces. And if you are with somebody that you're really apprehensive maybe about telling them, I think you should, and I think you should have a conversation with them. But maybe to think about somewhat, what you want in your life and what you want in a partner, and maybe assess that first.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's also like, when I was telling you, I was like, oh, he might think this is weird, but I was never like afraid that you were going to leave me. I was never worried for us. And if you are, with a partner who maybe thinks that witchcraft is evil, or you're legitimately worried about what they might have to say, then maybe that's not the person for you, unless they're willing to educate themselves to think differently. Because there was never a moment in my journey where Kenny thought that what I was doing was evil or bad or anything like
No.
that. But there are unfortunately people, my parents, who do think that, and we have encountered those people. And Kenny has been able to see firsthand how bizarre it is when people think that, you holding a crystal in your hand means that you're worshiping Satan. But, if you have a partner who grew up in a Christian home and maybe they have similar beliefs, if they're not willing to educate themselves to learn any different, then they definitely are not the person for you.
You know what, too? Like, let's talk about my mom for a second.
Okay.
Like, my mom is, she is a Christian, and it was really funny when I kind of talked to my mom about, everything that Hannah's doing and what she's into, and, this career that she started, on TikTok for herself. Um, it was, my mom just looked at me and she's like, that's really fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like,
I love
there
your
was
mom.
absolutely no prejudice there, or hate, or skepticism, or I mean, I think a lot of that stems from the fact that I think my mom trusts me to be with somebody who is a good person, and I don't think doing what you're doing is bad at all. But it was definitely really interesting to see that dichotomy with, you know people in your life that, they claim to be Christian, and yet they hold such, like, scorn, and like, for lack of a better term, like, this prejudice towards those things. And then you have people like my mom who, yet again, she claims to be Christian. I think she is a Christian, and she really does go about really loving and accepting everybody, and it just
Yep.
doesn't matter. My mom supports us moving in together, and she supports us being together, and there's absolutely nothing weird or bizarre there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
it's so nice to see, and it's just so nice, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. So
Yeah. Yeah, it is very refreshing to, like, be around your mom who, identifies as Christian, but is just a normal person. And she's been supportive of me since day one. She was one of my first customers when I first launched candles on my shop. And
was she really?
yeah, like like my original candles, not my deity candles, but when I had, like, the
Oh, the
orange and
OG.
the OG candles in the tins.
Yeah.
Yeah, she bought 2 of them from me. So, and your parents, like, let me stay at their house when I got kicked out with you, and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
there are normal people, nice people out there. You just have to find them, for sure.
Yeah.
And there are accepting people. You just have to find them. um Unfortunately, if you live in Indiana, that might be easier said than done, but I was able to find it, and I'm sure all of you can too. um hmm. I don't know. Send in more questions if you have any. If we don't get any, that's fine. We'll ramble for a little while longer and see what we do or don't get. Um, like I said, usually with these podcasts, I'll usually, like, write a script, but for this one, I did not. I'm like, let's just see what happens. So, like I said, if you guys have questions, send them. If not, that is also fine. But we were able to do this thanks to everyone subscribing to my Patreon, because I had posted a video saying if I get 10 subscribers by, such and such time, I'll have Kenny come on the podcast. And here we are. Let's see what we got.
So I had a question just about, working with like daemons and stuff. Like, how would you address that to somebody who would immediately, equate that and the left-hand path and all of that with being evil?
Okay. So, so like, Kenny, even though you don't consider yourself a Christian or religious, I'm sure you kind of grew up in an atmosphere where demon equals bad. So when you hear about me like working with Lilith, or hear me talking about that stuff on TikTok, like, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. He's so easygoing, you guys.
No, it's like, here's the thing, Kelly. Like, I think that I've taken enough. It's gonna sound so stupid. I've taken enough of these like religious classes, and I think I've seen enough in my life to know that if that a lot of things are extremely mislabeled, and I think a lot of things in Christianity are no different. And I don't know, maybe what Hannah I don't think what Hannah does is evil. I would never even go there. But what I'm trying to say is I think a lot of things are mislabeled because I think a lot of people have no idea, and they go throughout their lives just kind of thinking what other people are telling them to think. And I think a lot of that is really no different. Um, so I guess bottom line for me, I really just don't care. I trust Hannah, and I going back to that, I trust her. And if she tells me that it's not evil, then it's not evil. So there.
And you could also so the the show that led to everyone wanting Kenny to guest star with me on here was my Weird Demons podcast, which I did just a few days ago. That is accessible here on Stereo and on my Patreon. So if you give that one a listen, I have some resources to kind of show you like what/who demons really are and why they're not evil, and I give some of my opinions on that as well. And some resources and things for that. So if you can educate yourself and learn to research on um, that sort of thing, then that'll help you to be able to explain to other people in your life that, hey, what I'm not doing, or I'm sorry, that, hey, what I'm doing is not bad and what I'm doing is not evil. I would definitely advise you be careful because, like I said, if you are with someone who is very set in their ways and very steadfast in their beliefs, then it might not always be a good thing. But Kenny's very open-minded, and I'm it's been absolutely amazing to be able to be with someone who is so open-minded and who is so willing to just learn and listen to me and what I think and what I believe. And when it comes to spirituality, if we just decide to agree to disagree, then we agree to disagree, and it's just not a big deal.
Well, we don't really force our beliefs onto each other. That's another really thing. We just kind of accept each other as each other, and
Yeah,
that's all it is.
We'll have like the philosophical 3 a.m. conversations, like, so what do you think about alien, like
Of
those kind of
course.
like fun conversations, but that's just conversation. That's not, even when I was in Christianity, I never tried to force anything down his throat. And really, when I, would invite you to church or, try to, for lack of better words, persuade you to believe in a certain way, that was the other people in my life whispering in my ear that you need to get him saved. You need to bring him to church. He needs to accept Jesus if you ever want to marry him, blah, blah, blah. But it was never me. And then, I just kind of realized, like, you know what? I don't like that. But
Right.
yeah, I guess anytime I tried to evangelize you, it was my mom or my pastor talking. It was never me. So, yeah. And that was a big reason why I kind of turned away from Christianity, because like, okay, I was like, okay, this is my person who I love. But, if he finds Jesus and, all this shit, then he's going to change. But I don't want him to change. I want him to stay who he is. But that means that I don't want him to be Christian. And then I maybe realized I don't want my partner to be Christian. So that was a whole path, but I love Kenny for who he is, and I don't want him to change. And I mean, if he changes his beliefs on his own, then that's one thing, but I don't ever want him to do anything like that. So
Thanks, bud.
you're welcome.
Hannah, has Kenny meet your dad yet?
Oh yeah.
Once.
Yep.
Yeah, what do you think about my dad being in Church of Satan?
Yeah, it's cool. I don't know.
Do you remember when I
I
told you and what your reaction was?
what's up?
Do you remember like when I told you? It's okay if
Yeah,
you don't. It was a long time ago.
yeah, I thought it was neat. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't intimidating or anything. It was just
Yeah.
you know, I ended up doing a lot of research on them, both like collegiately and on my own, and um it's an interesting club, and yeah, it's neat. You know, what more could I say? You know, so
And ironically, my dad is the most normal out of all of my parents.
yeah, her dad is a really, really nice guy, and you know, I've only had the pleasure of meeting him once or twice at
I
most.
think it's only been once. I think it
I
was
think
when
you're right.
I graduated high school and they
I
came
think
up
you're
to
right.
visit.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah,
will be
really nice
coming.
guy.
My dad and my stepmom and their daughter, who's my younger sister, will be coming up here again for when I graduate college. So you will have met him twice.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I definitely think that though it'll be different this time around because now that I've been through everything that I've been through with getting kicked out of my mom's house, you know, I feel like I grew a lot closer with my dad when all of that happened, even though he lives far away. My dad lives in Florida and I live in Indiana. Um, but yeah, I feel like my relationship with my dad got stronger throughout that whole process because he went through very similar things when he was my age with his parents. He grew up in a very strict Baptist household, and now he's like one of the elites in the Church of Satan because that's how that happens, right? Um, so it will be interesting to see what it's like when all four parents encounter each other when I graduate. But that's besides the point. Um,
So
yeah,
now we're kind of in this weird like conundrum space where like we don't know how many tickets you're gonna get, and we don't know who's gonna get them. And I think I'm just gonna let you kind of have that with your parents, and maybe I can celebrate with you. You know, maybe on the weekend after.
I'm just gonna come back because we'll be living together by then. And I'm just gonna come back to the apartment and be like, come take a nap with me. I'm so fucking done. Like, I feel like my graduation is gonna be for them more so for me. Like, I just wanna get my life
No,
started.
no, you have to absolutely be present during your graduation. It's so fun and so exciting.
Yeah, if you drink, which I don't.
Yeah, but it's fun for us. We'll drink for you, and it'll no, but for real though, you know, like when I graduated college, I didn't, and I feel like it was when I graduated high school, I really didn't understand how much fun and what a big deal it was until the day that it actually came. Um,
When
it's
we
so
watched your
much fun.
commencement on a live stream because of COVID.
Dude, it's still so much fun. You cannot like try to glaze past your graduation. You got to be present and you know, really soak it in.
Yeah, maybe. I don't. I just feel like the next day I'm gonna wake up and be like, okay, time to get working on the witchy shit. Really excited to graduate and be able to prioritize my shop more and my Patreon. I have like notes in my phone of like, okay, here's what my Patreon tiers are gonna look like once I graduate and have more freaking time. Um, I think that my career in the witchcraft community is really going to soar once I graduate. It's just about getting there.
It's just crazy. Like, I remember moving you in to college.
Yeah.
And now you're almost done.
We've been together so long. I remember our first date was 2 days before you left for college, your
Yeah.
freshman year.
Mhm.
And now you're like a grown up and I'm going to be graduating.
I know I have like bills to pay. It's disgusting.
I know. But, that's another thing. Like, you've been with me through Christianity. You've been with me through witchcraft. You've been with me when my mom was my best friend. And you've been with me when now she's basically kind of a stranger. And so I think that our relationship is just very unique. I feel like a lot of people who have like the non-witchy boyfriend, maybe haven't been through as much trauma as we have. But yeah, for anyone who's like, how do I tell my partner I do witchcraft? At the end of the day, it really is just about finding someone who loves you. And I don't know. Yeah, that's it. Basically, just someone who really loves you for you.
And be confident in who you are and know yourself enough to feel that you can really do that and still be okay no matter what happens.
Yep. Yeah, you shouldn't sacrifice who you are to please your partner.
Why do you say things so much better than I can?
Because
like,
I've
I'm
been
like
doing this.
stammering over here and you're like, you just said it perfect.
Because you've never been
Thank
on
you.
a podcast before. I've been doing this for longer than you.
Lord.
Oh, we're getting a bunch of hearts. Thank you, guys.
By the way, if you guys want us to, I mean, I know this is Hannah's show, so I'm kind of impeding here, but if you guys want us to keep talking, can you guys just like send us a bunch of hearts, or if not, we can
Or
kind of
send us a
settle it
voice
down.
message. Like, yeah, if you
Yeah,
have.
anything, because
Yeah,
I mean,
we're not really on a schedule. So yeah,
I'm
if
just
you
trying
guys.
to work through the Sunday scaries. So
He's got work tomorrow. He's dreading it. He probably has work to do that he's trying to procrastinate.
whatever.
Oh boy.
Where, I'm kind of curious. I mean, I don't know if anybody will actually do it, but where are you guys from? Like, what do you guys do? Do any of you guys have corporate jobs, or do you guys have your own shops, or you know what I mean? Like what are your guys's? I feel like we have a small enough base right now. Like, what are you guys all about? I mean, give us some stuff. I know we got one so far, so come on, don't be shy. Talk to us. And
Yeah, let's see what this is.
Well, I have to head off to work, but it is amazing to have you guys on a podcast together finally. And hopefully we'll have some videos of you on together on TikTok. We'll see. And I hope you both have an amazing day. Love you both. Bye.
Kristen, you're awesome.
So all right, so I'll ask you that. Have you never been your face in a TikTok video of mine?
I'm ugly.
Oh, stop it.
I don't know.
Are you just
I
camera
feel
shy?
like whenever I see you, it's the weekend and we have a million other things to do.
Yeah.
And I know that that's kind of weird and kind of shitty, but I
No,
feel
it's
like
true.
I don't know if there's just not enough time or what, but I don't know. That's a great question.
You've always told me you don't think you could handle the hate comments.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I don't know.
No one would give you hate. Everyone
Not
loves
the
you.
most confident. Yeah, I could never go to Dick's Last Resort because if they were ever like me, I'm just not that confident. So like if they were to ever
Aww.
do that, it would just take me down. But
By the way, we've been on here for over an hour and no one has made a South Park joke yet. I'm very disappointed.
I'm really disappointed, guys. Come on, step it up.
Well, I'm from Slovakia and I am a nurse, and I found you on TikTok because I'm talking with Christian God too, so yeah. Greetings, and really, I love your podcast, both of you.
You're
That's
from
awesome.
Slovakia. That's crazy. Yeah, it's really cool. Seeing that there's people on the other side of the planet that watch me. I've given deity candles to Australia before, and that just absolutely boggles my mind. I definitely have some imposter syndrome. Like, what? People around the world think that I'm cool? I don't know what to do with that.
So, Zana, are you currently located in the United States, or are you still in Europe? And, I really want to ask, if you are still in Europe, I know it's a little bit of a sensitive topic, and I'm sorry, but, how are things maybe going where you're at? And, um, what's it really like right now?
Yeah, we're keeping up to date with everything that's happening in the Ukraine. Um, it's just a very sad and tragic situation. And, I firmly believe that as someone with a platform, that all people with platforms should be doing their part to try and share information, to where you can get correct news sources on everything that's happening. So, I'll try to repost videos on TikTok and post things on my other social media platforms. I run my mouth on Twitter all the time, but recently I've just been retweeting news sources to where you can get proper information on everything. But
Thank you for question. Well, I'm in Slovakia. Well, now we have a war in Ukraine, so it's not so easy for them, even for us. Well, yeah, I'm home. I have a son. Like, I'm caring for him, and I'm waiting what is gonna happen with Putin. And so I didn't want to talk about war. Well, if you ask, so nothing happy now here.
well, we're glad that you're safe. And, as we said, we're following the story very closely. Um, I know that I have followers from both Russia and Ukraine. So, and yeah, our hearts just go out to, everyone in the Ukraine whose livelihoods and families have been affected by this.
So my family is at I'm at work, and I work at a detox and rehab facility as a mental health technician. And not really a lot of people know about witchy stuff and things like that, but sometimes people ask questions about manifesting and stuff, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, no.
It's okay. I was able to get some of that. Yeah, so it's interesting, how many people are like, there's professional witches, like this is what they do for a living, and then there's people who work like normal jobs. And you would never know that they're really big into like occultism and things like that. So I don't know. I think it's very fascinating to learn about people who, yeah, you're super witchy, but you work at a rehab center. Like, and I definitely feel like witchcraft is expanding. Like you see crystals and tarot cards and TJ Maxx now. Like, I love it.
And Kelly, I'm sorry. I said, oh no, I think I had something technical on my end. I couldn't hear your question so clearly, but
Yeah,
she works at a rehab center?
I think so. It was a little fuzzy for me too.
That's really cool.
But
Nice.
yeah, we get there's people from all walks of life that pursue this kind of path. I just wanted to do it for a living. Which, I want to put crystals on my shop eventually, and I do have some there right now. If you're in need of a 17-inch satin spar that could be also used as like a weapon, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? What is that?
Oh, yes. Selenite / satin spar. It is like the cleansing crystal. So you use selenite to cleanse your other crystals, to cleanse your space, to cleanse your items. I keep a thing of selenite in my crystal bowl at all times so that my crystals are just constantly charging, constantly being cleansed. Um, I'll wave it over my head because you do clockwise to invoke and counterclockwise to repel. So like if I really need a good night's sleep, I'll wave my selenite wand over clockwise and be like, "Make me sleep good." Like,
why don't you ever do that over my head? Come on.
would you take it seriously?
Of course.
No, you wouldn't.
So what does cleansing mean? Like when you say that you're cleansing,
So let's say
like are you cleaning your crystals?
no. So it's like getting rid of the energy. It's basically like a reset. Like, let's say I used my amethyst stone to help me sleep at night, but now I want to use my amethyst for something else. To cleanse it means to get rid of the energy that I was using it for previously, so that I can bring in new energy for what I want to use it for next. And that is something that selenite can help you do. And charging your crystals is to give them like more power. So like, if you hear about witches being like, okay, make sure you put your crystals in the moonlight tonight, it's full moon, so you can charge them. Well, selenite can charge your crystals too, and it's pretty. And I have
Nice.
really big ones on my shop.
Well, here we got a message from Kelly, so we're gonna hang on. Let me try to figure this out.
You can do it.
It's a lot of confidence.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was outside and I was walking and had my mask on and everything, but yes, I work at a rehab center.
That's
nice.
Cool. Yeah, I want to put more crystals on my shop. I have short satin spars and big satin spars. Like, I have ones that are little at like 6 inches, and then, like I said, I have 15 inches and 17-inch ones. So definitely go look into those. I also restocked goblin scoops that have tons of crystals in them.
Goblin goops.
Goblin scoops. Black salt, deity candles, and also with the deity candles, it's not just for deities. I will make them for a deity, angel, demon, ancestors, poltergeist, pet, passed on love. You know what? I'd had someone make one for their pet once, so I'll really make one for anything.
Now, hang on now. Aren't poltergeists like scary?
No,
like
they're
the movie?
not. No, they just hang out with you.
Have you seen the movie?
Yes, it's inaccurate. Just like all the horror movies about demons and all the horror movies about witches are inaccurate.
What about a banshee? What are those evil?
I don't know a whole lot about that, honestly. I don't know much about banshees.
Okay, well, a little let down, but okay.
You had asked who of us had a corporate job. I have a corporate job. I have a corporate customer service job.
Right on. That's cool.
See, there's plenty of corporate witches out there. On Wednesday, my patrons chose for me to do my show on practical witchcraft. So, like, how to incorporate witchcraft into your everyday life. So I'll be talking about like how you can use the craft at work, at school, anything like that. So that'll be the show for you.
I gotta give it to you guys too for doing customer service. I mean, I don't know who you work for or what you handle. I mean, I know what customer service is, but God, it's been such a weird time economically. So I can't imagine the amount of Karens you've probably had to deal with.
Oh my God.
I know the supply chain is kind of grinded to its core, and I think it's getting a little bit better now, but oh God, just keep staying strong. It's pretty neat that you're working in that.
Godspeed.
Oh, here's your South Park reference. Bad Kitty. That's my papa.
It's my papa.
An inside joke of ours is we watch a lot of Good Mythical Morning, and if you guys watch Rhett and Link will talk like this sometimes.
There's a code yoke.
Yeah, Kenny and I just do that to each other. Oh my gosh. Yeah, when I graduate, I really need to bring my YouTube channel back. Well, what do we got?
All I handle are Karens. When a call comes in through the call center and they are extremely disrespectful, hateful, whatever, over and above the normal, those are the ones that come to me. I get to be the bitch.
Oh, that's fun.
That's amazing. And you know what, Mindy? I hope you can just be the person that you need to be on the phone back to them.
Just let them have it. Love
I don't
being
know.
a bitch. That's powerful. Oh boy. Well, so let's circle back to when I announced that, if we get however many Patreon patrons that Kenny would be on the show, and then in like 24 hours I had doubled the number of patrons I had. How did that make you feel? That so many people were like, yes, we want Kenny to come on the show, so we're going to subscribe to Hannah's Patreon because that's how badly we want this.
I would definitely say I walked into my work extremely, probably 10 times more confident than I usually do. Typically I have a lot of self-loathing going into work at 7 in the morning.
Well, don't we all?
No, it was awesome. I thought it was really great. I'm really glad that, I'm really sorry. I know for a lot of you it's probably a letdown to hear me for the first time and to like get to know me on stereo. I know that a lot of people probably had different ideas of who I was and who I am, and but it was it was really cool to see. I know it means a lot to Hannah to have you guys around, and um it was just the coolest thing. So I'm gonna say thanks again to all you guys for really kind of doing that and just playing, one more step into Hannah and allowing her to follow her dreams. It's really cool. So
Aww. Well, yeah, thank you guys again for, subscribing to my Patreon and for tuning in to meet my boyfriend. And if you weren't able to catch the live show, the recording for this will be on Patreon.
oh man, are we signing off?
I don't know. Do you want to? You want to keep going? Like, we can keep going. I don't know.
I can't believe that there are this many people here. I mean, okay, I know that there's 6, but like
at one
y'all
point
are
we had
OG.
like 20, and we're kind of dropped. It is a Sunday. People are probably dealing with the Sunday scaries.
Yeah. Well, I know these people aren't here to listen to me. I know they're probably here to listen. They are here to listen to you. So.
Well, no. The whole point was this is the Kenny special. They wanted to be like, okay, who this girl that we follow on TikTok? What kind of weirdo is dating her? Because she's weird. And it's like, no, my boyfriend's perfectly normal. I'm the weird one.
Goodness. Well, you guys should definitely keep telling Hannah want to see, and I don't know if you guys can find me on TikTok. I don't really have many followers, but I'll comment on Hannah's videos every now and then.
His TikTok is Sir Kenny the Great.
Of course.
And his profile picture is me next to an albino guy.
Yeah, I may or may not be the albino guy. But you guys should definitely keep telling her what you guys want. And, if she gets, I'm not even kidding you, I sit next to her and like we watch TV or we go out to a restaurant or do anything, her phone is constantly blowing up. I've never seen such shit. So like, like if you guys ever like really need anything, you guys can always message me too, and I'll try to relay it to her. I would say try to save that as like a last resort, just because I don't know what I would do with so many messages, but
he works 12-hour days.
But you guys are really great, and thanks for doing all that you guys do.
So yeah, you probably need to do work on something, I'm sure, or you just play a video game.
No way, dude. I think I'm gonna go to Garfield Park. You want to go to Garfield Park?
Oh, that actually sounds like a good time. We were gonna do that last weekend and we didn't.
Do you know the temp? Is it?
It's in like the 40s, I think.
Can't believe I'm asking you what the temp is on a podcast. 47. Yeah, let's go walk around.
All right, guys. So once again, make sure you subscribe to my Patreon if you're not already, because along with, podcast stuff, you can vote on future podcast topics and lots of other fun things coming in the future. Make sure you check out my store because I just restocked a bunch of shit yesterday. I restocked deity candles, goblin scoops, black salt, and I introduced all of those selenite satin spar. What? Shut up.
You know what?
What?
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I almost wonder if we should do something where, and I know we've talked about this off podcast also, but if this is kind of a hit and if people kind of like to see you with another person in videos, like, what if we did something where, I could be in videos, but it would only be accessible to your Patreon patrons?
Yeah, maybe like unlisted YouTube videos, or I think we can live stream on Patreon. But
That'd be kind of cool. I don't know.
yeah, we could figure that out for sure. I don't know. We're just kind of thinking out loud, but we'll brainstorm at the park because I think that that's where we're going next.
We're constantly brainstorming different things, whether it's my job or her job or our life or...
We're so boring.
God, we're boring. We shopped for plants today.
No, you shopped for plants today. You went straight to the gardening section when we went to Walmart. Don't lie.
Somebody didn't let me get a plant. So
because we just let one go yesterday. We need time to grieve.
I think one of the homeless guys outside my apartment took it.
Or one of the plant moms that lives in your building is going to nurse it back to health.
That's a really sad situation. She's going to be real disappointed. I don't know.
Wow. All right. Well, yes, make sure you do all the things. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. They're all spirituality, but spelled TEA, like the drink. It's a pun. It's hilarious. If you want to follow Kenny, he's Sir Kenny the Great on all platforms.
If you guys have any questions on defeasance, commercial paper, secured or unsecured debt transactions, or like parts of asset management, different ways of principal amortization,
it's like he's speaking another language.
Definitely, just we can have a good time. It'd be fun.
Hit him up. If you guys want Kenny to feature on another podcast another time, or like I said, if you want to do a thing where we, have live streams for the Patreon patrons only, or something like that. I'm not.
If you guys absolutely do not want me to ever be in anything again, let me know.
Oh my God, the people love you. You're a star. But yeah, thank you guys so much, like I said, for everything that you do. Thank you to those of you who subscribe to my Patreon so that we could have Kenny on the show, and for just helping us out, with everything financially, because we're moving soon and starting our lives together. But like I said, make sure you check out my restock, even if it's just to look. Even if you don't want to shop right now, but you just want to take a look, go check out my shop, spirituality.bigcartel.com. You could also find it by clicking the link in my TikTok bio. Any closing words, Kenneth?
You're so melodic, Hannah S., with that closing outro. It's very bizarre to hear you like that, but it's pretty cool.
I try to. I'm like a show person. Like,
I know, it's cool. I like
I'm an influencer.
Let's go get some hot chocolate and walk around a park and
brainstorm further. All right. Well,
beautiful.
This will be on Patreon tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope you have a great evening. Bye.
Bye, all.